Hello, friends. Welcome to Betcraft. Yesterday we made our predictions, and traditionally, most of the games entered. They all came true except for Arsenal game. Surprisingly, they were defeated yesterday by Porto, FC Porto, and you know, that's the only one that came short. But we saw Barcelona, we saw Cruz Azul, we saw FC Bolivar, all that truly big odds, all coming out to expectations yesterday. So kudos to those of you who played out our game and won that games yesterday. And today we'll go again. Today there's a lot of games going on in Europe. We have a conference, league, and also the Europa League, and there's a whole lot of teams coming up today facing each other. So we looked at these games and made our analysis based on their past recent encounters and their form at the moment. So in these very games, we made our prediction, and you know based on both on their past form and their recent games they have played so far, and we'll come up with the very best expectations for these games. Okay, sit back and watch as we talk about the games one by one. And before I start talking about the games, please remember to subscribe. If this is the first time you are seeing us in this channel, subscribe so that each time we make our predictions, you will get notified on your device, so that you do not miss out on our predictions. Okay, we'll start with in a conference league match where Bodo Glimt is coming up against Ajax of Holland, and in this game we looked at how both teams have played. We can say that these are high scoring teams in most of the matches Ajax have played in the past. In those matches, in the past five, they have seen over 2.5 in 4 out of 5 that have played so far, and that's also the same with Bodo Glimt. And also looking at their last encounter with Ajax last time, we saw that it ended up a 2-2 draw, and not spending so much time on this, we also expect goals coming up in this very game. So the verdict for this very one is over 2.5. Okay, the next game we have for you is Slovan Bratislava coming up against Storm Graz of Austria. Okay, and in this very encounter, we can as well recall that the last time these two teams meet, Slovan defeated Storm Graz by 4 goals to. Storm Graz defeated Slovan by 4 goals to 1, and in their UEFA Conference League match, and now they're coming for the second leg of this encounter, and we expect at least 2 goals coming up in this very encounter. So we're going to see over 1.5 in this very encounter. And going to the next game that we'll have for you is also in the Conference League, where Eintracht Frankfurt is coming up against Union Saint-Gilloise, and we saw that in their first leg of this encounter, we saw that they have they played the 2-2 draw at home to Union Saint-Gilloise, and in this very game we also expect a high scoring side. We also expect a high scoring game, seeing that both teams, Union Saint-Gilloise in the past 5 games, they have been able to score over 2.5, except for one. They scored over 2.5 in 4 out of the 5. So we expect a high scoring encounter in this game. Also recalling that Frankfurt in their last Bundesliga game against Freiburg ended up a 3-3 draw. So in this very game, we expect goals, and the verdict for this very game is at least over 2.5 in this very encounter. So the next that we have for you is the last in the Conference League. We have Legia Warsaw of Poland coming up against Molde of Norway, and we also have to look at their last encounter, the first leg of this very encounter. Also that Molde defeated Warsaw in that very encounter by 3 goals to 2, and we could see that in most past 5 games they have played so far, they've been scoring over 3.5 goals in those encounters. So in this very game, we expect at least 2 goals in this very encounter. That is over 1.5. And to the next game, we have is in Europa League, where Toulouse is coming up against Benfica. And in this very game, could see that in the past match the both teams played last time, and which is the first leg of this very encounter. Also, that Benfica defeated Toulouse by 2 goals to nothing, and also looking at Benfica's form in the past 5, they've been able to win 5. They've been able to win 4 out of those 5, drawing 1 against Victoria Gomes. Toulouse also defeated Monaco in the last League One match they played, and in 5 they've been able to win 2, but also losing 3 out of 5. So we expect in this very game, we expect Benfica to take the sports in this game, to win outrightly in this very encounter. And the next that we'll have for you is the Europa League match, where Rennes will be coming up against AC Milan, and we saw that AC Milan defeated Rennes by 3 goals to 0 in the past encounter that both teams met. And you can as well notice that in the past 5 games for AC Milan, they've been able to win 3 out of 5, drawing 1 and losing 1 against Monza on the weekend. And but Rennes, on the other hand, have been able to win 4 out of their past 5 games they've played, losing to AC Milan in the Europa League first leg match that they played by 3 goals to 0. That's their only loss in the past 5 games they have played so far. And in this very encounter, our verdict for this very game is at least 2. We're going to see at least 2 goals coming up in this very encounter. So over 1.5 is our verdict in this very encounter. And going to the next game that we'll have for you today, we'll see that Karabakh is going to be facing Braga in the Europa League match. Also, we looked at the past. The past time they met each other, we saw Karabakh, coming up winners against Braga, defeating Braga by 4 goals to 2 on that occasion from their away. And we're going to see a very exciting encounter between these two today, because Braga will be trying to redeem themselves in this second leg of this encounter. And looking at the forms for these both teams, Karabakh have been able to win 3 out of their past 2 games, out of the past 5 games, losing 1 and drawing 1, while Braga have been able to win 2, losing 2 and drawing 1 in their past 5 games of play. So in this very encounter, we expect a very high scoring encounter, and then in this very match we expect over 2.5 goals in this very encounter. So the verdict is 2.5 goals. So expect to see at least 3 goals in this very encounter. All right, moving to the next game that we'll have for you. Our next match will be Sparta Prague, coming up against Galatasaray in Europa League match, which will be coming up today. And we'll see that in the past encounter between these two, we see that Galatasaray, run away winners in that very encounter by 3 goals to 2. And we also saw that Galatasaray, who have been in very fine form in all their league matches, they've been defeating all their opponents. In the last 5 games they have played so far, they have won the entire thing. And Sparta Praha also, aside the defeat to Galatasaray, they've also been able to win all their past 4 matches out of the 5 they have played so far. So in this very encounter, the verdict for this very game, we're going to expect at least 2 goals coming up in this very encounter. So the verdict for this very game is over 1.5 goals in this very encounter. All right, and the last for the day is the match of Sporting Lisbon coming up against the Young Boys. We saw how in their last encounter we saw Sporting defeating the Young Boys by 3 goals to 1 in that very encounter. And also we could see from the recent games that Sporting have played so far how they have been in very fine form. They have actually won the entire 5 games they have played in the recent past. And on the other, that can be said for young boys who have managed 2 wins and 2 draws and then 1 loss, which is the loss against Sporting Lisbon in the first leg of this encounter. And in this very match, we expect and over 2.5 goals in this very encounter. We expect goals coming up in this very encounter. We expect to see 2.5, at least 3 goals in this very encounter. And this concludes, our prediction for the day. And I hope you like our video. I hope you share our video, and also subscribe if it is the first time you're coming up meeting us in this very channel. Okay, I wish you best of luck, and I hope to see you tomorrow for the next predictions. Best of luck.